Hello, welcome back to the channel and another video on the series about Salvage. Today's video we're going to be tackling the gearbox on this A-Class Merc, and it looks pretty complicated, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, luckily, as you saw in the last video, it does move. Now it's got actual gearbox oil in it, it's not leaking, but there's definitely some vibration coming from that bell housing area, which I suspect is the dual mass flywheel. So the only way we're going to find out is by pulling the gearbox. So that is going to be the mission for today. Never worked on one of these, so it should be fun. There isn't much really in terms of information available on them either, because this 8-speed dual clutch I think is only from this like newer shape 19 onwards, so not too sure why dual mass is flat failing 55,000 miles on what's supposed to be a premium manufacturer. But anyway, let's spin around, have a look. There it is. There's not a lot you can see in this engine bay, it's pretty packed, but down there is a gearbox, and that's got to come out. So what I'm thinking, tackle the top first. We're going to have to remove all of this basically. Airbox, I'm presuming that's the ECU that's fixed to the top of it. Get all that out. Battery out, battery tray out, get everything out from here, and we should have a really good view then of the top of the gearbox. Should be able to get to all the fixings on the bell housing. Obviously there's going to be a gearbox mount as well this side, but yeah, basically get all this out and then we'll go underneath it. But the gist of it is going to be wheels off, bottom ball joint split, pull the shafts, drop the subframe, hopefully strap that back out the way enough to have enough room to be able to lower the engine down at an angle and get the gearbox off the side of it. It's basically, but yeah, there's a lot to do, in there. So it's just going to be a case of, like I said, diving in and figuring it out. There's no how-tos available on the internet for pulling this gearbox, so we'll figure it out. So should we just make a start and see what happens? I'm not going to try to even figure out on camera where all the fixings are because I can't see nothing. First case, I think, is going to be removing this ECU off here, or at least getting all the harness off it, because all that harness is going to have to peel back. Maybe leave the ECU on the airbox. It probably is just clicked in somewhere on some rubber bungs. Yeah, there's one there. Anyway, let's get you on a stand, see if we can make some progress and get some room and have a look at this, actually be able to put eyes on this gearbox. Right, we're making a bit of progress. Let's move that over there. We can now see our gearbox. Obviously this is our gearbox. This is our gearbox mount. So in terms of that, it's literally going to be them 3 bolts. Just undo them 3 bolts. And the engine and box would drop on this side. Obviously you've got to prop it up first. That's all simple enough. I'm slightly concerned about how far it has to drop until it misses the chassis leg. I am slightly concerned about that. What have you got? I bet you've got... what, buddy? 5 inches. I've got to lower this gearbox down 5 inches for it to be lower than the chassis leg, because obviously the gearbox has to go that way, and right now that's the gap, which isn't enough. You got your starter motor. It's quite clever how they put that on top. Be easy to change that. Well, I would say easy, I mean it's not hard. Some kind of electronic plug in the gearbox here. This is probably your electronic shifter, I would have thought, something like that. And I'm thinking it's these bolts to separate the box from the block. But I do want to have a look underneath, make sure, because it looks like there's some kind of spacer there. Like that's the kind of spacer in there between the block and this. So I don't know if that's starter motor, then flywheel has to be here, doesn't it, for the starter motor to click onto it. So yeah, that'll be fine, yeah. Undoing them all the way around, we'll get it undone. Yeah, got a little inspection hole there actually. Strangely, don't know what that is down there. There's a hole in the little inspection hole. I'm gonna have a look at it, mate. Anyway, we're at the point now where we need to go underneath and make a start, like I said, with the wheels off, split the ball joints. We're gonna have to drain the gearbox oil again, but I'm gonna catch it because it's brand new. We're gonna reuse it, and I've got half a litre still there, so we've got enough gearbox oil for it. So I need to find a clean container, get it up in the air and get that oil draining, and then we can, like I said, pull the wheels, get the shafts out. But once I've done that, we'll have another look under there and see what else we need to do. Yeah, we're just on the tip of the iceberg, aren't we, really? Let's continue. Okay, a bit of an update for you. We've got the wheels off, drive shafts are out. I've removed the 200 trays on the back because they would have stopped the subframe coming down. We've got splash guard out this side. You can see all the side of the gearbox now. I've took the support bracket, you see this silver bracket? Took it off this side because it's going to be in our way when we come to take the gearbox out. What else have I done? Oh yeah, I've disconnected the steering rack from the subframe and I've zip tied that up to the struts. So I don't want to drop the steering rack because I don't want it to come off the end of the steering column up there. Left the track rod ends on so that'll keep all our tracking good. So really I'm at the point where I need to drop this subframe. So what I've got left is we've got the rear engine mount, which just stops the engine going backwards and forwards, that's all. So we can disconnect that, engine won't go anywhere. It's still got its engine mount on this side, up there, and it's got its gearbox mount up there holding it all in. So we'll whip that out, and then I think I've got 4 bolts. Got that one, same the other side, and then I've got these 2 rear ones. So like I said, my kind of idea is take all them 4 out, it will drop, but it will hang on the anti-roll bar because the drop links are still in place. And then usually what you can do is you can put a strap on it, strap it to something on the back of the car and pull it along the underside of the car to about here. And all it does is it gets this area here past the back of the gearbox. So we need to basically get that to there. So then it clears the gearbox then. So far so good, yeah. It's more difficult than any other car, it's going alright. I have noticed we've got some coolant pipes going into the gearbox for the water pump that cools the gearbox. So I need to obviously drop the coolant at some point as well. And also the sump on this is plastic, so we can't put an engine stand underneath the sump. Yeah, so I'm thinking I'm hoping to put it on there because we're splitting along that joint there. You see that? That's like an adapter, but I don't think I need to take that off. So I'm taking these out and we're splitting it there. So that's going to stay on the engine. So in theory, perhaps we can get an engine stand under that. But that's for later on. So yeah, this is the plan. Let's see if this works. I think I've disconnected everything. I've got to pull this wire off here. That's staying with the steering rack. And we'll get a hydraulic stand under it as well to brace it, just to make sure. And hopefully it'll just, like I say, come down and we can pull it back under the car a little bit and get some room around this. So fingers crossed that goes to plan. Let's give it a go. And there we go, that went exactly to plan. Exactly what I wanted it to do. You see the strap there, pulling it back out of the way. And now we've got all this room underneath the engine and the gearbox. All that room to be able to lower this side down and then take the box off. That's the plan anyway. So what I'll probably do now before I forget is disconnect the coolant pipes from the radiator. I have to go back above, and then I'm ready then for in the morning, because it's getting on a bit today now. It took me 3 hours to get to this point, but I didn't start till 12:30. Yeah, in the morning I'll get another pump stand, and we'll see if we can get this gearbox out. I don't think it's going to be all that difficult now. It's a big gearbox though. I mean, if you look at the surface end of the surface area of the end, it's quite big. It's only short, but it's chunky, isn't it? It's a chunky one. So yeah, as long as we can get this side down enough to clear the subframe, all is good. I think I'll whip off this bit of trim as well, just to give me a bit more room. But yeah, I think you'll agree, that's gone pretty damn good actually. Exactly how I want it to. The steam rack's still up there. This engine obviously and gearbox will rock backwards and forwards now, because like I said, the rear gearbox engine mount, is off, so it stops. It can waggle, but it can't go anywhere. It can't fall out overnight or anything silly. It's perfectly safe. So yeah, we'll come back in the morning, for me anyway, with another stand, and we'll complete the job of getting this out, and then we can put some eyes on that dual mass flywheel, and fingers crossed that is what is making the vibration and the clattering noise. And yeah, this will then go back all together, and fingers crossed it'll be a good one. A lot of stuff lying around. Anyway, we'll continue for me tomorrow, for you within a couple of seconds. Right, the gearbox is out. Now I do apologise, I was planning on recording, but it was a bit, I wanted another pair of hands in here just in case something went wrong and the guy doesn't want to be on camera. It's as simple as that really. So unfortunately I couldn't record it, but I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. The box is there, and then we'll get to the point of what the issue is. So the last, is that stone? It's a stone. Where the last bit of footage ended, basically all that needed to be done was a stand putting under the engine, the gearbox mount disconnecting. The engine was then lowered to an angle where, like I said, the gearbox will clear the chassis leg, and then just undo the bell housing bolts, which are obviously all the way around, like there, and so on, and then you just pull it away. So it only took, what, 15 minutes. But now we've found out the Carnage, and the Carnage, yeah, is pretty serious really. This is obviously inside your bell housing, inside of the engine. You can see all this build up of gunge. There's little metal springs that have snapped in there. Lots of debris, lots of crap. Good thing is the crank seal is perfectly dry, no signs of damage or wear. So from this point in, 99% sure there's no more damage. It hasn't caused any damage to the crank bearings or anything like that. So yeah, we'll clean obviously all this up, get all this spotless and clean. And yeah, that's a bit of metal there, a bit of a spring, half a spring. That will have been from inside the dual mass flywheel, I suspect. that is the dual mass flywheel there. I will show you that in a moment. And obviously this is the gearbox, 8-speed dual clutch. If anyone's seen any of these, you shouldn't be able to see in there, not straight away anyway. And again, see all this build up of just gunge, and this is a mixture of I don't know, a lot of things probably. Yeah, so basically down here, this is your clutch. I think it's got a lot of clutch plates in there, so I'm guessing so. And there you got a little I don't know what the word is, but some teeth anyway. Them teeth are supposed to sit in to this, and that's your oil pump. Okay, so that should be in there, and this plate with a rubber seal on it, it's supposed to seal it all in. All right, so if you look at one of these gearboxes on eBay, basically it looks something like that. All right, and then this big clip holds that plate in, therefore holding all the oil inside here, keeping all the clutch, all that. Is it a wet clutch then? It's weird. Anyway, keeping all that sealed so all the gearbox oil stays in there and all is good. So the question is, has the dual mass flywheel failed and caused this? Or has this failed and caused the dual mass flywheel to fail? I suspect, I might be completely wrong, that this dual mass flywheel has failed because it is completely knackered. If you look here, the plate has collapsed inwards, whereas it's flush there. See, it's all chewed up around the edges. I think the dual mass has failed. The vibration from that dual mass is what's caused this big circlip to come out. Once that's come out, obviously this has fallen out, which will have emptied all the gearbox oil into the bell housing, caused all this gunk. So obviously with all this gunk, this is something that's happened over, well, I don't know, over quite a long period of time maybe. I don't know. I mean, yeah, so basically the noise we were hearing was that clattering around and the flywheel clattering around. So, is this gearbox knackered? More than likely there is going to be issues with this gearbox because it's been ran dry, and there's no point taking any risk with it, I don't think. I think the best case here is to get a replacement gearbox, which will obviously come with this pack all together, and get a replacement dual mass flywheel and then put it all back together. And there's no reason then why that shouldn't solve all our problems. But yeah, it's created quite a mess, hasn't it? It's created quite a mess. So yeah, I mean, obviously we won't be going down the lines of getting a brand new gearbox because you're going to be talking thousands and thousands and thousands for a gearbox from Mercedes. One of these, I would have thought. At least $5 maybe. There's no reason why we won't get a new dual mass flywheel. But I think I noticed the gearbox on eBay with 9,000 miles on it. So it's next to new, isn't it? So I'm going to have a good look around now, really, and find the parts we want, the best ones possible, and then we'll come back and put it back together. But we'll have to get all new oils again. The coolant's had to be emptied, obviously, like I said, that's your water cooler, whatever, for the oil in the gearbox. And then go through putting it all back together. Interesting. I do enjoy doing mechanical stuff, honestly. It's good fun. I like figuring it out. Yeah, this is safe. Yeah, so I'm not too sure how long it's going to take for me to find and get these parts here, but for the time being, yeah, that's going to be put on a hold, and we're going to end this video here. But what? Yeah, it's a bit of carnage, that, isn't it? There's some carnage going on there. Alright, so yeah, big tidy up time. Put tools away, ready for when the new parts come, and we'll put it back together. And I still think, overall, even, do you know, we've got a couple of grand in parts here to buy now to put this right, it's still going to come out well under what it'll cost to actually buy one, even salvage. So they're still fine in terms of the price, which is the main thing. And it'll be fine. It'll be all right. All be okay in the end. Right. All right. Thank you as always for watching. Massively appreciated. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.